For me, it was the Beano album, the first John Mayall record with Eric Clapton. That was when we heard that, we were just like, "What are we hearing? What in the world? That is awesome!" There's like three solos on that record. The one on "All Your Love," and then the blues tune, "Have You Heard About My Baby?" The solo in that is wicked, just like over the top. And I think they do "Stepping Out" on there, maybe, or one. There's an instrumental that he does on there that's also really good. It's like, wow, nobody ever heard a guitar sound like that until that. And it was because of he had a Marshall amp that he was playing, a 50 watt. He had two Marshall amps. He had a 50 watt head and a 4x12 cabinet. Then he had the little combo, 50 watt combo with two 12s, open back, and that's what's on the record, that combo amp. But he refused to turn down because there was no master volume on those amps. So you had to, and he used a little thing called a range master treble booster, which is basically just a signal booster, really. It doesn't really boost treble as much as it does maybe mid-range or something, but they called it a treble booster, but I'm not sure if that was, it didn't really brighten it. It would push the front end of the amp to distortion. Just get your pickup a little bit more muscle. And so he used it for that, I think. And he refused to turn down, and the engineer, who was kind of famous, was like tearing his hair out. It's like, I can't record you guys. You're too loud. They can't. He says, we'll figure it out because I'm not turning down. And they recorded that album probably in 1 day or 2 days, and that's why it sounds like that. But until that time, we'd never heard anything like that. Now, Johnny Guitar Watson records from the 50s had some wicked ass guitar sounds, but they weren't like that. They're more Stratocaster into a Tweed amp turned up, which was a little bit more brittle and harsh, but wicked nonetheless. And of course, Guitar Slim, and who else? Earl King. Yeah, they both had great sounding guitar solos in their records. Those cats had real wicked ass sounds. Guitar Slim had a 100-foot guitar cable, and he had a valet for his cable. We're dressed in a tux, that would follow him around the club and, dole it out. He would even walk out into the street to play in New Orleans, and he had a horn, like a police siren horn, bolted onto the top of his amp. So he's using the speaker in the Fender amp, but he also jumped it up to the horn that was kind of pointed up, and to make it louder and more brash, more trebly and rude. And that was his trick. But I love the fact that, Guitar Slim's dressed in a nice, dapper outfit. He's got this guy behind him in a tux with a cable, going out into the street, and then winded it back up as he goes to the stage. But really, those guys were the only guys that really sounded. And Link Wray had a brash, rude sound. He predated, Eric Clapton, but nobody had that Eric Clapton sound like on that record, man. It was just like, whoa. And then there's a really good example of them live. Jack Bruce, Huey Flint, Eric Clapton, and John Mayall, and they're in a nightclub in England. And it says it's in '66, but actually it's in like the fall of '65. They're playing Stormy Monday, and the recording fades in on Eric's solo. It's the most wicked ass buddy guy, just frantic, intense guitar solo you ever heard on a blues in your life. It's just, but it's the Marshall and the Les Paul, it's like, wow, it's so good. I got to see Cream twice in '68. I saw them in the spring of '68 and the fall of '68.
Good.
Yeah, they were really good. The first time especially. And he was playing his SG through two Marshalls, and they were just so good. They sounded so good, man. He was on fire. And then, by 1970, it was over. he never played like that again. You know, it went from being the greatest thing you ever heard to just kind of like, well, that was nice, you know. But it was never like it was, you know, when he was, you know, with John Mayall or Cream. That was the end of that. Boy, he changed the face of popular music, you know. I just didn't go there. You know, a lot of people really love all that stuff, and I'm glad they like it, you know.